Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blaze 101 webinar. My name is Fatima Zara, and I'll be your host for the next hour or so. Very stoked to have you here today. Happy Wednesday. As we wait for people to join us, I did want to let everybody know that this webinar is live and interactive. So please jump into the chat right now and let me know where you're joining us from and what do you do in your business and what made you, intrigued or interested in Autopilot. We have tens and thousands of entrepreneurs from all around the world using Blaze. We'll call all kinds of industries and businesses. So always find it fascinating to see and hear where people are joining us from. So feel free to drop in the chat as we wait for people to join us. I'll give people another few minutes and then we can get started. Like I said, my name is Fatima Zara, and I'm based in Toronto, Ontario. So Blaze our headquarters of Blaze is in San Francisco, but we are a remote team. So really cool to come together from all over the world as a team, but then also even cooler to connect with customers who are using Blaze from all over the world. Hello, Craig. Wow, you guys operate 65 pharmacies in 6 states. That is so cool. Hello, Lewis, who lives in Hot Springs, California. Resume writing and career coaching. That is so cool. I feel like people, especially right now, really are in need of that help. So glad to have people like you can help people find jobs. Hello, Marcos, who's joining us from Florida and is a small e-commerce solopreneur and uses Blaze to come up with ideas for Instagram. That is fantastic. Hello, Fiona, living in Thailand. Thailand is so fun and beautiful. That must be, a thrill living there. Offering marketing services to clients. That's so cool. Hello, Ashley, who's joining us from Florida. Accountants and tax planning experts. That is cool. Hello, Shabdali from India, digital marketer. Also, let me know if I announced your name right. And hello, Andrew, who's joining us from Huntsville, Alabama. Small family-owned heating and cooling, handling marketing. That is so cool. We love small businesses here, especially family-owned. Hello, Anna, who's joining us from Florida and is a realtor. Well, welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. Before we get started, I did want to let everybody know that we will be recording this webinar, so do not worry if you need to step away for any reason or you need to be in and out. Maybe you have a meeting, can't stick around till the end. Do not worry, as long as you register for the webinar, which is how you're here. The email you used, that would be the link will be sent to that email, so no worries there. It is sneaky sometimes, though. It might end up in your spam folder. But I would say that just give it 10 minutes after we wrap up so the video process is then sent out. And if you don't see it, even if, not even your spam, I would say just message me at community@blaze.ai and I'll sort you out. But regardless, there is a replay, so no worries there. Hello, Duarte from Portugal, working in marketing and communications in the finance space. Cool. Okay, so let's get started now. So the way we do these webinars is that I want to give you an opportunity to either just use this webinar as a webinar, you just see it as a demo, and you don't have to do anything, just watch and see how Blaze works. Or you can use this webinar as more of a workshop where you can follow along with me and create your workspace as I create the workspace here. And this way it's more interactive, and then I can also help you indirectly on board on Autopilot and help make sure that you are set up for success. So if you are interested, here is the link. You can open that up and you should see the same window as I am. If not, then maybe there's a button at the bottom that says create a new workspace, and it should lead you to what you're seeing here on my screen. Speaking of screens, I'm hoping you guys are able to see my screen. I'm sharing the screen called Create New Autopilot Workspace. If you can say yes or a thumbs up or something, so I know that I'm not just the only one seeing the screen. Thank you for confirming. Cool. Okay, so let's get started. If you are following along, now is the time to open up the link I shared in the chat. I'll share it again. And thank you so much for confirming that you can see my Window, cool. So now that I am sharing my screen, you can follow along. So the way Autopilot works is that instead of you doing, content creation as like Copilot, if you have been using Blaze before, you're calling the legacy platform our Copilot platform. So the idea there is that while Blaze does do all the heavy lifting for you, you still have to go in and, you know, click on our content wizards, click on Instagram, and then tell Blaze what kind of Instagram posts you want to create, and then manually go ahead and schedule it to post automatically. So there's still a lot of things that Blaze was able to do, like creating content for you based on instructions, automatically posting content when you manually go in and schedule, um, show you analytics. So there was still like some part that you had to do. Like when you were looking at analytics, you were like, okay, my this posted really well, but that one didn't do anything. But then you were the ones who had to figure out what does that mean. You still had to be the one coming up with some idea of what kind of Instagram posts you want to create, and then also just drag and drop on calendar to make sure that Blaze does post on the time and day that you chose. So yeah, so that's why we're calling it co-pilot, because you and Blaze were co-pilots together flying the plane. But with autopilot, just like the name suggests, Blaze does, I would say, 99% of the work for you, to be honest, because what Blaze does is that it creates content automatically for you. So each week, Blaze will create content in weekly batches, and then you have the opportunity to review and edit the content that Blaze has already created and scheduled for you. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to just not show up at all, Blaze will pretty much be on autopilot. It will create the content, post the content, learn from the previous set of content, look into analytics, give you a good report, and then use that report to create more content that is aligned. So that is the goal here, to completely set marketing on autopilot, hence the name. So with that little intro spiel, I'm going to start is this workspace by naming my workspace after my brand. So I'm going to do Dark Horse Coffee, which is my favorite coffee shop in Toronto. And I'm just going to go ahead and create this. And from here, Blaze is now going to prepare your workspace. And as it says, AI that does marketing for you, which is essentially our mantra here. So the way you get started on autopilot is you need to add in a website. So this is very important. It needs to be a website of your brand or a website of sorts. It can't be a link to your social media accounts. So for example, you can't link to your Instagram profile. It needs to be a website. So I'm going to go ahead and add darkhorseespresso.com as my website, so Blaze can go ahead and get started. So now Blaze is going to be building a business overview and marketing strategy. So it's going to analyze some website, it's going to locate the business, it's going to look up competitors, come up with a full brand profile, archetypes, your competitive advantage, what kind of products you are selling, what should be selling. It does a very like deep dive into your business, as you can see right now. So it came up with my core identity, marketing positioning, direct competitors, which are Balzac's and Pilot, which are also my favorite coffee shops. So that was on point. And then the most popular products and services, why customers would choose Dark Horse over others, and what is the brand story, which is very important when you're creating content, because storytelling is a big part of content creation. But yeah, so as you can see, Blaze has come up with a core identity saying Dark Horse Espresso Bar is a Toronto-based specialty coffee establishment. Primary positioning is your local coffee destination. Secondary is crafting exceptional coffee experiences. And then tertiary is spaces for community and connection, which is on point, to be honest. Direct competitors, I would actually say there's also Rooster Coffee Shop. So you can make edits here. So you're not married to anything that Blaze gives you. Blaze is just here to do all the heavy lifting for you. All you have to do, just like a supervisor would, is like, oh, this is great. This is great. You're missing this here. Everything else is looking great here. So I'm going to save that. Let's see, customer demographics. I would also add in maybe college students. Sorry, why is it not saving? college students, and then I would say maybe that's like, I'll make this 30, I'll make this 35, and then I'll make this 10%. And then and yeah, I'm gonna save that too. Most popular products. All of this is looking fabulous to me. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next step. But as you can see, you can make edits here if you want to, but I feel like Blaze really knocked it out of the park. It has done a fabulous job, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and click on looks good. And now Blaze has also created my brand kit for me. It has pulled images from the website. It has selected all of these colors. I can make changes. I can also choose a color palette that Blaze has found fit for me. So this was pulled from a website, but this is the recommendation that Blaze is making. I'm actually going to go with the recommendation, to be honest. I'm just going to make this slightly less. Yeah, there you go. This is perfect. And I'm going to confirm colors. And same for fonts. I can choose the ones that Blaze pulled from the website or the best option. In this case, I do want to stick to the website one because I feel like that is better. So again, you have options here. You can choose the recommendation that Blaze gives you, or you can just choose the one on the website, or you can make your own. So yeah, and the brand voice section, which is very important. Let's see, purpose is to promote the brand's products and services, engage the community, and build relationships. Audience is local coffee enthusiasts, community members in Toronto. Like I said, also college students looking for a place to study and collaborate with their peers, because even though Toronto has so many universities, I feel like sometimes they can feel crowded, or you just need a change of space. So a lot of college students will be looking for a place to study and collaborate with their peers. Everything else is looking good here, but if I wanted to, I can add and subtract anything from here. So again, not married to anything. I'm going to move on to the next step because I feel like this is looking good to me. So I'm going to give Blaze a second to save. And here Blaze is telling us what it recommends to when it comes to channels we should focus on. So right now Blaze is saying we should focus on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. But if you want, you can also check on or anything off. Maybe instead of LinkedIn, it's TikTok. Actually, I would still pick LinkedIn. And then the blog is specialty coffee, espresso, Toronto cafes, community. Toronto events too, because I feel like they do a lot of events. And yeah, everything else is looking good. So I'm going to click on looks good and peek into the chat. Anna's asking, can I add images here? Yes, you can. You can upload your own images too. So Blaze has already pulled images from your website. If they are not enough, you can just go in and add your own too. And I'll show you in just a second once we go through this onboarding. Herman is asking, how does it determine which social media platforms it should target? That's a great question, Herman. Thank you for asking. So basically the way Blaze recommends is based on your audience and seeing, your audience, the topics, your niche, and then figuring out where would be the best place to put all of our focus on. So for example, Toronto coffee shops like this one, Dark Horse, they obviously on Instagram, obviously on Facebook, but then because they are doing events and they are doing networking, LinkedIn is a good idea too, right? So like that's what's basically, those are the factors that Blaze considers when creating content. Cool. Okay, so here we are asked to review topics for our first week. So like I mentioned earlier on, Autopilot works in weekly batches. Every week, Blaze will create a set of content for the week, and then you'll be needing to review. But before it creates content, you will have the opportunity to choose the topics. What's great here is that instead of giving you a whole week of content review that you may have to completely rewrite because you're like, hey, this was not the topic I wanted to talk about this week. Yes, it is part of my niche. And yes, it is something that my brand is related to. But this particular week, I don't want to talk about A, I want to talk about B. So this gives you an opportunity to make sure that the content that Blaze creates is going to be something that you actually want to share for that week. So let's see, Blaze has picked 23 topics for me. Why supporting local coffee shops boosts community spirit, the science behind espresso, how our unique coffee spaces, secondary. I feel like all of these are great. Maybe missing students. Let's do instead of sustainability, which is still an important topic, but for this week, because people are just getting into, you know, the back to school type of vibe. Schools just open, at least in Toronto. They opened last week, the first week after Labor Day weekend, and a lot of people are still, finding their groove. So like looking for finding, sorry, let's do this. Finding the perfect coffee shop for studying. Um, let's do why coffee shops are the new libraries. Oh, not co-working spaces. Cool. Okay, so I think this is good, but you can take off topics too. So for example, actually, you like all of them. Maybe I'm not going to delete anything, but if you want, you can just click on this and Blaze will go ahead and not include that topic. But because I do like all of them, I'm going to go ahead and generate the content. So now, which is the most exciting part, I feel like this is the most magical part of using Autopilot, seeing that first batch of content being created for you. And honestly, I always find it so fascinating to see how far we have come in technology, like how far AI has come. I'm not sure about you, but when I started in AI, so my first job in AI was in 2021, and I still remember when I got that job, it was another company. I was like, what is AI? What is going on here? It could do such like basic stuff. Was still fascinating. It was an app for image generation. And I remember we would put like a prompt in there, it would still be gibberish, but it was still so cool. And fast forward, 4 years? And now AI can do so much more. It can be a little, not even little, big and mighty marketing team. So it's really fascinating for me to see how far we have come and how far AI has come. And releasing Autopilot was such a joy to witness because I was like, wow, AI can do so much and Blaze can do so much. So excited to be here and show you the magic. But I'll give Blaze a minute or two to create content because it was going to create 40 to 50 pieces. But I want to quickly show you or just share some housekeeping with you. So basically, like I said, your first week here would be to review your first week of content, like I said, and then moving on a weekly basis, you would need to review your content, starting with reviewing your second week of content topics, which I'll show you in a second. And every Tuesday, because we started it today, so every Tuesday, new content is going to be created. And then every Friday, new content will be posted. So from Tuesday to Friday, if you don't do anything, Blaze will just go ahead and start posting for you. I was talking to a customer yesterday, actually. Oh, no, last Friday. Sorry, days are just passing through, and I'm not realizing how fast time is going by. But basically, I was talking to a customer on Friday and asking them, how the experience has been, because we do office hours every Friday. If you're interested, it's 3 p.m. Eastern. And he was telling me how the first few weeks, Blaze needed some reviews and edits done, but because there is a learning loop embedded in Blaze's process, which you're now calling Blaze Brain, it learns from the previous batch of content. So each week it gets better and better. So now that he is in week 3 or week 4, he's like, hey, Blaze is doing such a fabulous job that I am no longer reviewing things. Blaze is creating them, posting them. I'm making sales. I am growing my website traffic. I'm growing my lead gen, and I don't have to do anything, which is great. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. So I wanted to share that story here with you, that you will have the opportunity to review content, but you don't have to if you trust Blaze enough to post, and it will get better week over week. So the longer you stay with Blaze, it's very similar to if you've used ChatGPT in the past. A lot of people love ChatGPT now, but when we first started, ChatGPT misunderstood a lot. It didn't get what we were talking about. We had to do a lot of prompt engineering, but now all of a sudden we're like, oh, ChatGPT just gets me. But that's because it has that memory embedded in there, so it learns and remembers everything. So the longer you use ChatGPT, the more it understands you. That's the same concept here, just more marketing. So The other thing is also I'll be showing you your brand kit is going to be your command center when it comes to your content strategy. I'll show you how you can continue making edits and adding pictures, setting up your content preferences. I'll do all of that. I just wanted to quickly share that. And we do have a world-class 24/7 human support, not AI support, humans. So while we are very proud of the AI products we have created for you to make your marketing as seamless and smooth as possible, we also take pride that we are very human-centered. So our human support is available to you 24/7. They are fabulous. They're amazing. They're very responsive. So if you are ever stuck, just click that question mark at the bottom right. And here you will see multiple options for you to get started when it comes to getting help. You can view our YouTube channel, browse through thousands of, or maybe not thousands, tons of videos that do a deep dive in Blaze and Autopilot. We have help center articles, some of them with videos embedded in them. We also have support channel, which I was talking about, and these are humans behind these chats, and they are awesome. So don't take my word for it. You can give this a try anytime you are stuck. And yeah, so welcome to Blaze, and now we are ready to go to the calendar. So as I said, Blaze has created 38 pieces of content, which is wow. Like, it is blows my mind every time. As you can see, this is a video content that Blaze has created for me. Sorry, my internet's a little laggy in this Airbnb. I'm gonna give it a second. There you go. And it has created the caption for me too. And yeah, and videos there. I'm like, wow. And I can just click on this next. It will show me the next piece of content. Again, looking great to me. But if you do want to make changes, you can click on visual here. And then from here, you can just make changes. Maybe I want to replace this image. Maybe I want to do that. And then just make it bigger. And then make pull. Actually, I just want to do that. And then maybe make it bigger here, and then make the cropping better. And yeah, that looks good to me. And again, I don't have to do anything beyond this initial edit because it's already auto scheduled. I can just go back to the calendar and do that for my blog. My blog is ready with all of the links and everything. And if I do want to make changes to this, I can just click on document editor, which will take me to my doc editor, which is a full feature doc editor. I can do all kinds of fun stuff here too. If I want to, I can add some call outs or add gradient effects as I'm scrolling through. I can even have Blaze make changes here. Like, can we rewrite in simple yet compelling, language? So even though Blaze has created all the content for you and you need to, or feel like you need to edit it, you don't need to do it yourself. I can just use AI to help me. I can also share this with my people. So maybe I have a customer or client who needs to review this before I can even allow Blaze to post. We have a lot of agencies using Blaze Autopilot to streamline their content creation, and they just use this share for review. And then I can set the date. I can also share it with my coworkers and edit permissions. If I need them to come in and review and check it out, I can do that. So very collaborative with humans and AI. So even though Blaze has created content on Autopilot, again, you're not married to anything. You can have Blaze, make changes, or you can have other humans make changes to it. So let's see if I have any questions that I can answer. Louis is saying, can content be pushed to both a personal and business LinkedIn page? I just see an option to post to one. Yeah, so even though you have options for both, you would have to pick one or the other. You can't do both at the same time, unfortunately. But I think the product team is working on bringing that feature to Autopilot. So hang tight, but till then you would have to pick either it's personal or business. Shabdali is asking, will I be able to add images and videos and when the client shares the same with me? Yes. So speaking of that, let me quickly show you how to do that. So if you go into Brand Kit, which I said would be your command center, you can add more content into your source materials. I would say spend some time in this section, because I've had some customers come to me and say that, hey, love the idea of Autopilot, but it's not creating content that I am impressed by. It's not creating content that is on par with my expectations, and I don't know what to do. It's a bit disappointing. And then we work together, and then we realize that they haven't spent time in their source materials or brand profile, style, and voice. So I feel like the more you optimize it here, so think, maybe brand guidelines, some writing samples, maybe pages to your product or services, or any blog that doesn't necessarily need to be from your website. It can also be from maybe there is a blog that does a great job of overviewing what's happening in your brand's world, your industry. That Blaze would be beneficial for Blaze to know and understand. So I would add those pages here too. I would add those files. Actually, let me add one. Dark Horse does catering, and I feel like that would be very beneficial for Blaze to know about. So I'm going to add that. I'm also going to add, let's see, not already. Our story is already there. Never mind. Blaze already did a good job of doing that. And we have this event coming. Yeah, I think this is good. So I can add more. I can also add like files. I can upload them. I can also select from within Blaze. Maybe there's a blog post that I really liked and I want Blaze to know about it. I can link to other websites like I just did. And then you can also integrate, make sure all of your integrations are set. So I don't have anything set right now, but I want to connect my Facebook account. And then it's going to click on Facebook Business. Just going to take me to my Facebook account. And then I'm going to reconnect. From here, I'm going to do Blaze Coffee, connect that account, and then I'm going to do the same for Instagram. Reconnect, and then choose my coffee account. And yeah, I can do for all of them, but I don't have any TikTok or MailChimp accounts. But as you can see, we connect with all major platforms like Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. Also MailChimp if you're using that for email marketing. Google Analytics is a big one. So I would highly recommend connecting your Google Analytics account so Blaze can measure how much traffic your content is generating, and then use that as a reference point to create content that is aligned and that is actually driving impact, right? So it's not just creating content for the sake of creating content, but creating content that has a direct and positive impact on your business. And usually website traffic is the first step in getting those conversions, getting those sales. So highly recommend connecting as many channels as you can, because not only will this allow Blaze to automatically post content on your channels, but also learn and analyze and understand your content style, what's working, what's not working, use that for strategies that it creates for you. So highly recommend connecting all of these. And then once this is done, you can go into images and video and then upload your images and videos here. As you can see, Blaze has pulled images and videos from my social channels as well as from my website. And this was a brand profile that we started with. And because I already made changes to it, I don't need to. But if you do need to continue making changes as your business evolves, you can just click on edit and do that. We also optimize our styles and voice. As you can see that even though Blaze pulled the original logo, it has generated a light and dark logos too, which comes very handy when you're creating content that requires, a lighter logo or a dark logo. But you can make changes here too. You can also take them off if you don't like the ones that Blaze has generated for you. And then, yeah, because we did optimize this, I'm not going to make any changes here. But if you do want to, you can just click on edit. And then last tab is the content preferences tab, which for me is the most, okay, I shouldn't say the most because I just said source material is the most. I guess as a last step, it is a very important step, I would say, because this way you can tell Blaze what you prefer when it comes to the content that you want it to create. So for example, we have some customers who don't want Blaze to use any stock. They just want to use images from the brand kit like these ones. So you can just click on only my brand kit, and then Blaze will only pick the most relevant images and videos from your content like brand kit. You can use only stock. So maybe you're like, hey, I don't have images and I don't care about that. I just want good quality images, regardless of where they're from. Then Blaze will use the most relevant stock images and videos. Or you can do brand first, which is kind of like a hybrid. So Blaze will pick your brand's image first, and once it runs out of all of the images, then it will resort to stock. So you have these options here, and you can also click on always include images on blog posts. But if you don't want any images on your blog post, you can check that off. You can choose a language. We support over 40 languages on Autopilot. And if you are in the UK or Australia, we have those options for you too. You can also add topics you want to avoid. So even though, let's say it's coffee, but maybe I want to avoid topics like how to brew your coffee, for example, or coffee recipes, because I want people to come into the coffee shop. I want it to be more focused on coming into the coffee shop, being part of the community, joining the events. I don't want them to do any DIY. I can add those topics in here. I can also add words and phrases to avoid. Maybe you want to avoid M dashes, because as we all know, that's usually the direct giveaway. I personally don't care because I have been using M dashes personally, but I do know a lot of people don't want that. So you can add that here. You can also add domains to avoid, because, when it comes to SEO, you do need to add external or outbound links to your blog posts. So if you want to avoid certain links that might be, competitor domains, you can add that here. You can also add hashtags to avoid or include. Maybe you have some branded hashtags you want to avoid, or maybe you have your own branded hashtags you want to include. You can add that here. But I will say that anytime you make any changes, it will only take effect in the next week's content. But if you want to, you can click on regenerate this week's content, but be aware that clicking this will completely replace your current content. So if you do like your current calendar, I would just leave it as is. I would not click on this, and I would just say, okay, I'll just wait for next week's content to be generated so it's aligned, because sometimes our customers think that it would just make minor changes to the current calendar, but really it's going to completely replace the content. So I would say if you like your current batch, don't do anything, just let it be. And then once you are done with your brand kit, you'll notice that these changes will be applied to the next week's content, which will be in the calendar. But because we have already reviewed, I want to show you the brand plan. So the brand plan is great. So once you have reviewed your content for the calendar, which I just did, I want to go back in my brand plan and see what's happening for next week. So I'm going to click on edit topics, which is next week. And here, very similar to the first round, you get the opportunity to add topics, but also to add and subtract from your content. So maybe I don't want to do 7 TikToks. Maybe I only want to do 5. And then LinkedIn is 7 too. But I actually want to do more stories. Maybe I want to do a story every day. And then, everything else. Look, maybe I'll do 2 reels. So I'm still posting 7 times in my feed, 7 times in my story. And even though I did not add X before, I can also add 1 X post. I can do the same here. Maybe I only want to do 1 blog post per week, and then maybe 1 newsletter per week. And then I can take off any topics because I'm only doing 1. So let's do that. But 26 is good for here. And I can make changes here too if I want to, but because I'm liking all of this is fine. But I highly recommend setting a sort of schedule or cadence where if, in this case, my content is being generated every Tuesday, then I'm going to spend some time every Monday at the latest, or maybe even Sunday. I'll just brew myself a cup of matcha or get myself a cup of matcha, and then just spend time, maybe 10 minutes tops, to make sure the topics that we are going to be creating content around are aligned with that, season in my business. I'm going to save this, and then the next content, which is going to be generated on Tuesday for me. And if you have started your trial today, then all of us today on Tuesday will be created. Oops, sorry. Got too excited there for a second. And if you want to go back and see your current week of content, you can see the content here. Any channels that I had not connected will say connect. But because I don't have my MailChimp connected on my blog, because I don't have WordPress right now, but notice that my Instagram post, for example, is already auto scheduled at the top. So I don't have to do anything. It's going to be posting, it's going to post on Friday, September 19th, which is next Friday at 10 a.m. EDT. Same for my Facebook. It's already auto scheduled. I don't have to do anything. Can you believe it? I do not have to do anything. I can just sip my matcha and just watch all of the reach and followers roll in. So yeah, so that's pretty much how Autopilot works. But I did want to take some time to answer questions before I move on to the next part of the agenda, which is going to be pricing. Cool. I forgot what was the last question I answered. Okay, I think it was Todd. So what if optimal timings are Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 a.m.? Can post times be customized? Not yet, but we're hoping to add that soon because we have seen people ask for that. So the way this works is that Blaze does all of that optimizing for you. So the timings that you see here, like 10 a.m. on Sunday for Facebook or 10 a.m. for Instagram, it's based on my audience. So Blaze has already done that. But if you do want to have a bigger say or more say in that, Blaze, we will give that option soon. But right now, we don't have that option. Deomara is asking if I use this with a client, does Blaze have an approval process? Yes. So like I showed you here in the blog, you can click on it. And then once you're in the editor, you can click for review. Todd is asking what underlying model does Blaze use to generate content? It's a mix. So we use ChatGPT, the latest model, as well as Claude. We found Claude is really great with writing content. So we use a mix of both to make sure the content that is generated is top notch. Yeah, review is also for socials. I'll show you here. Click on visual. I can also share it for review. Fiona is asking, can Blaze generate images and videos based on visuals of brick and mortar businesses, or does it still need to be shot by videographer? Yeah, I mean, because brick and mortars are, specific. I mean, you can still use stock images of brick and mortar stores, but it would not look like yours. So I would say you still need to have some photographs, and then maybe Blaze can find similar imagery based, like from stock, based on your images. Anam is asking, hey, do I need team account to share with the team? Not necessarily. You can also add them as guests. Anam is saying, can I get information about competitor strategy on Blaze? Sorry, I'm not sure. Did you mean our competitors? Like who our competitors are, or like how Blaze creates competitor strategy for you? Just need clarity on that before I can answer that question. If it is about competitors for you, then it was going to be added to your brand profile. So here it has come up with direct competitors. And then based on that, it has also come up with competitive advantages that helps you compete with them. Jeremiah is asking, will you add threads? Yes, we are considering. It's not directly like a priority right now, but it's something that I've heard people ask about. And I usually, I've seen that once people start asking about something, it happens. Dort is asking, still no integration with CRMs such as HubSpot? Yeah, unfortunately, no, but we are bringing in Go High Level though. It's coming very, very soon. It's already in beta. So I'm hoping it's released very, very soon. Giovanni is asking how much, which is a great segue, to be honest, to get to the next part of this webinar. I'm speaking about pricing. So if you started your workshop, if you use this webinar as a workshop and started your workspace today, you'll notice at the top, it will say 7 days left in your trial. And this will be updated as you go through your trial. So tomorrow you'll see it's 6 or 5 or whatever. Moving on. And then after 7 days are done, your workspace will still be here, but you just won't be able to access it. There will be kind of like a paywall. So highly recommend upgrading before that happens. And when you are ready to upgrade, all you have to do is click on upgrade. And here you can choose a plan that works for you. So all of these have the same set of features. It's just a matter of how you want to how long you want to stick with Blaze. Like I mentioned, that the longer you stick around with Blaze, the better it gets because there is that learning loop involved that we're calling the Blaze brain. But if you still want to just stick to monthly, or monthly plan starts at 99 a month, but as you go up, so for example, 3 months, 6 month, 12 month, 18 month, which is like 60% off, your monthly goes down. And anyone who is added to our 12 or 18 month plans, they will be added to our mastermind exclusive community, which is great, which I host. We'll be doing our first mastermind next week, so I'm very, very excited for that. So yeah, I wanted to quickly show you the benefits of Blaze. If you go into pricing, you'll notice that, our monthly is great. And it will give you fresh content every week, customer strategy for your business, get smarter every day, like I mentioned, post while you sleep, which is amazing feeling, to be honest, and then weekly growth reports, and you will get access to real humans 24/7 when you need them. And like I said, our 12-month plan bonuses will give you everything in short-term plans, but monthly mastermind strategy calls, 365-day growth planning, premium content library, and direct access to marketing experts. So highly recommend sticking to something 12-month and up. We have a lot of people switching to that from our monthly plans. So highly recommend doing that. But if you do want to stick to monthly, that is cool too. So I'm going to move on with other questions. Stuart is saying, is there a link to see what all the other compatible languages are? There's no external link, but if you start your 7-day free trial today and you don't need to use your credit card or anything, you can go in brand kit, content preferences, and you'll see the entire list. I think it's over 40 or something. Lloyd is saying, can we prompt it to have the CTAs as the DM word coffee, for example, ideally with text on the images? So I would say we used to have a call to action here section, which we temporarily took off. So I'm hoping to add that very soon. In that one, you can say, just add DM word coffee. You can also add it in your brand profile here. Always add this word. And this way we'll add that so you can use something like ManyChats for the automations. Fiona is saying, for the review function, does my client also need a Blaze account, access to the account? Not necessarily. They don't need an account. They can just click on review and they should be able to go in. But they will see like the Blaze backend. Giovanni is asking, can I use this for my clients? Absolutely. So we have a lot of agencies using Blaze, especially Autopilot. We had a lot of agencies go from our legacy model, Copilot, to Autopilot because it helped them so much with content creation and streamlining and also providing reports to clients and whatnot. Anna was saying, analyze competitor strategy for us. If I put some competitor's website, will Blaze tell me what they do that works for me? So Blaze does create this brand profile with direct competitors, and then also based on that, give you competitor advantages. If this is not enough, you can click on create new and then brainstorm ideas. And here you can choose like content plan, and that will give you target customer personas, competitor ideas, top channels, all of that. So I would do that if the initial one is not enough for you. Shabdali is asking, can the content be customized as per the specific platforms? So yes, so we're going to be bringing in a feature called strategies, and that will allow you to have way more control over the content that Blaze creates on Autopilot. So it's best of both worlds. For example, if you want your content to be more professional sounding when it's on LinkedIn and more trendy and casual when it's on Instagram, then Blaze will be able to do that too. We are also just beta testing that right now, so I'm hoping that it is added very, very soon to the platform. Deomar is asking, does it create carousels or infographics as social posts? So right now, it's not doing that on Autopilot. You can use our designer, like blank design. You can start with that and, I'm going to say test and create it yourself using templates. So we do have templates that you can use, like maybe this. You can use that. But automatically, Blaze mainly does based on what's trending right now. So what's trending right now are more simple piece of content like this. You'll notice this type of content posting on your LinkedIn and Facebook a lot more. So it bases off on your branding and what's trending on social media. Giovanni says, do you have to prepay on 12 months? Yes, essentially that is the difference between monthly and 12 month, because in monthly you'll just pay 99 per month, and 12 month you will be billed 594 total, but when you divide that by 12, it comes down to 50 a month. So you get that discount for paying upfront. Harman saying, for the blogs Blaze generates, are they keyword and SEO optimized? Yes, that is a great question. And I'm so sorry I didn't mention that. I just got too excited, so I kept like moving on to the next feature because I wanted to show you all the features. But let's say this blog post that Blaze has generated for me, there is this panel on the left that's called prepare to publish. Here, Blaze is giving our SEO a score of 80. I can also click on SEO analysis and see that SEO is doing really well, but the readability could use some work. I don't have to do any of this, by the way. I can just have Blaze add more transition words, make the copy score a little higher so it's easy to read, but it does give you the option to review the SEO. Todd is saying, does Blaze provide a unified inbox to manage DMs? Unfortunately, no. So right now we don't do any sort of like CRM type of stuff where you're, talking to people, commenting, replying, but could come to the platform. Like I said, we have been adding a lot more features almost every day. And the more requests we get for a feature, the more likely it will happen. So if you want, you can also just like click on this question mark here and chat support, and then either make a request for integration that you want to see on Blaze or feature. And then depending on how many people we get the feature requests from, the volume, we'll prioritize it accordingly. Lloyd is saying, can Nano Banana be a model used for image generation, or is it just a system default? I think it is a system default, unfortunately, but maybe you can suggest we use that or give you the option. Lloyd is also saying, when is Go High Level integration planned for? So I would say fall. So it could be early fall. I don't have exact timeline, but it is going to be our next release. Fiona is saying, Instagram, for example, is a visual platform. X is mostly text. Can I preview the long term, say month, quarterly strategy, platform by platform? So right now it's weekly basis. So we don't do monthly, but that is something that we're considering to add. But if you see, I didn't generate any X, unfortunately, but it will be more text-based though. X will be more text-based. So your content is not the same for each platform. It is optimized for each platform. Cool. Let me know if there are any other questions, but I highly recommend starting your 7-day free trial and then seeing what Blaze does for the first week, right? I would highly recommend spending some time in your brand kit and, integrating all of your channels. That's very, very important, integrating channels, because sometimes customers just skip that because they're like, hey, I don't mind if I don't post automatically. But then I'm like, yeah, but it's not just for posting. It is also for learning. So Blaze can learn from your content and then also analyze your previous set so you can create content that would actually have an impact, positive impact on your business. So highly recommend starting a 7-day free trial today. If you did not start the webinar as a workshop or opened up the link, I'll share the link again if you want to do that after end this webinar. You can also watch my replay and then use that as a workshop video and follow along, or you can just do it on your own. But highly recommend starting 7-day free trial. It doesn't hurt. You don't need any credit card to get started, and you can cancel any time before your 7 days end, and you can just like switch to a plan once you're ready. But I will say the main things you should consider when you're starting a 7-day free trial is to optimize your brand kit, make all the integrations, set all the integrations, and then review your topics for the week, and then see what Blaze has created for you. And then once you're ready, you can just click that upgrade button and then join us in our community. As you can see at the bottom, it says join our community, which I manage personally. It's right here that I'll show you, which I manage personally. And yeah. And Damar is saying, can you show us analytics? Great question. So analytics are here. So we'll show you what's best performing. Mine is connected to a demo account, so you don't see much here. But if you go on home, this is where Blaze will give you a report. So right now it has just said we're preparing for launch because our first week, but every week it will tell you the content it has prepared, the product topics that were included, how they did. And then if you scroll down, it will show you performance, output, all of that. It's essentially replacing your marketing manager or your agency per se, if you want to do it yourself. But if you are an agency, then you're kind of replacing yourself, but you're not telling your clients about it. So yeah. The Amara is saying, does it create reports? So yeah, this is essentially the report it will create for you. And then if you want to share with the client, you can just copy paste it or whatnot. Todd saying, for paid accounts, are there any watermarks on posted content? No, we don't have any watermarks off Blaze. Unless you want watermarks of your own on your content, that's different, but there's no watermarks. Lloyd is saying, can we white label branding? So we're actually working on that right now. So for now, the only thing you can do is replace this logo at the top, the Blaze one. You can go in settings and then general. Yeah, in general, you can change the color to a color that you want, and then you can upload the logo, but semi-white labeling because there'll still be some elements of Blaze showing up. But we're working on making it more white label. Now, Mara is saying, can you also show a bit of paid ads? So it's still in beta, so that's the only issue. But if you click on paid ads, you can run meta ads without the guesswork. It is coming very soon, like it says. You can sign up in the email, and so we can notify you when it's live or when we are looking for beta testers. Basically, the idea is that you'll be able to connect your account, your meta ad account, manager account with Blaze, and then similar to this calendar, Blaze creates content for you. It optimizes the content so it's optimized for ads, and then what ads should be, and all that creative and everything, budget, all of that, and then all you have to do is say, we're good to go, let's do this, and then Blaze will go ahead and do it. And I'm saying, if I create a video, can I incorporate it in the content? Yes, you can. So just like add it to your brand kit, upload the video here, or if you want it to be on a particular video, so for example, this one, maybe, sorry, my Airbnb video is a little short, but basically you can change it here and here, and then you can also replace it. You can just add from your media. I don't have any videos here, but if I did, I can do that. I think there's also stock videos. Yeah, there you go. There's stock videos here that I can use. Can we search coffee? And then I can just add that, and then we'll just replace it. So I can search from stock videos. I can also search from my own brand kit like that. What is saying, how many accounts can we connect if you want to service multiple clients? So you would need to create multiple workspaces. So one workspace per client. There is an agency plan that we're working on. So if you are interested, just send me a message and I can send you more information. But we have that option for you. We have a specific agency plan for folks who are agencies or have multiple clients. And I think, does it add hashtags automatically, or do I have to add it? So you can add hashtags in this part of brand kit where you can say hashtags to include or add. Cool. Happy to answer some more questions if you have any. But if you do need to leave, thank you so much for joining me on this fine Wednesday morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you're joining us from. I am clocking in from Savannah, Georgia. It is a beautiful town or city. Been loving it here. and it is afternoon here. So after this webinar, I'll just go and chill by, like, maybe go for a little walk, get my vitamin D in, and then get back to work. But thank you so much, Fiona and Craig, for being here. Highly recommend starting the 7-day free trial. Doesn't hurt, and see what Blaze can do. Nord is saying, is there a Blaze LinkedIn we can follow? Yes, we do. Let me share that link with you. And also let me know how I did in this webinar. It just gives me good insight because we just started doing these autopilot webinars. So it's been a little bit of a shift. So I want to make sure that I am sharing the right information and I'm not wasting your time, because I do not want to be wasting your time. But yeah, let me share the link to Blaze LinkedIn and the chat. Sorry, I have so many tabs open. Here you go. Worked. And thank you, Diamara, for being here. Thank you, everyone who asked questions. Always love it when the chat is, bursting with questions. And as I love it when it's interactive, because sometimes, you can get in your head and like, oh, I'm just talking to myself. And then when I'm talking to you guys, I'm like, okay, I'm doing something here. I'm not just talking to myself. So thank you. And I also find that, a lot of people may not have realized they have a question till they see somebody else's question. Like, oh, wow, that's a good question. I didn't think of that. So thank you again for making it as insightful as it can possibly be by asking questions. These are all great questions. So thank you so much. But like I said, start your 7-day free trial today. See what Blaze Autopilot can do for your business. Like I said, it makes marketing so smooth and seamless. You don't have to wake up every day thinking about what to post, what to tell ChatGPT to create for you, thinking and then creating and planning and scheduling and then looking at analytics. It can become a lot. That's why marketing teams are like teams. It's not just one person. Oftentimes, even for agencies, it's usually 2-3 people working on one client's work. Like in companies, marketing teams are like 10-20 people at the minimum. So with Blaze Autopilot, we're hoping to level out the field so small businesses like yourselves can actually, compete fairly, and creating content so that, or marketing, taking over marketing so you don't have to worry about marketing, because my guess is you did not start your business to become a marketer or a creator or social media manager, unless, of course, you're an agency. You start your business, do your business, and Blaze, helps you do that. So thank you again for, asking questions, for being here, for also rating the usefulness of this webinar. It's 100% so far. Thank you so much. That made my day. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Highly recommend starting the 7-day free trial. Join us in the community, which I manage personally. Say hi. Let us know how you're using Autopilot. If I can be of any service to you, I also do one-on-one demos too. So once you join the once you join the community, after you start the trial, just send me a message. You'll get a welcome message from me, which is automated. So I'll just be completely transparent. But that also gives me signal that you have joined, and then it starts a chat with us. So this way you can, connect with me one-on-one if you do need extra help. So thank you once again for being here. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. We're halfway through the month. I'm like, whoa, where did the month go? Where did the year go? I feel like year just started, but then I was like, oh, the summer just started, and now it's back to school season, and before you know it, we're in the holiday season, which is insane. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much for being here. I will connect with you in the community, start that 7-day free trial, and let me know how you find Autopilot after your first week is done. And if I can answer your questions, just send me a message in the community, or you can just connect with us via support. So bye, everyone. I'll see you in the community. Chat soon. Oh, Greg, that's actually so sweet of you. I do appreciate that, saying that you could watch a webinar on Blaze every week. I am glad to hear that. Also, it seems like I'm doing my job too. And I also feel like I shouldn't take all of the credit, because Blaze itself is so amazing. I don't have to do anything. I just have to show you what Blaze does. And it's like, wow, this is great. So really grateful to be part of the team. Really grateful for our product team who works so tirelessly in creating all the features that you guys need to make sure that small businesses are able to win online. So I'm really proud of our product team. So I want to give them a shout out here. Go our product team. And especially this week, because we did a huge launch of Autopilot, we're constantly adding new features. So really proud of our product team. So if you want to give a shout out to our product team, just reach out to us via support. We always share our customer comms with the product team so they know that the work they're doing is being appreciated. So thank you so much, Greg, for saying that. I'll be sure to share that with the team. And with that, I'll be ending the webinar, and I'm excited to see what you do with Autopilot. And please don't be shy. Come say hi in the community. Would love to connect with you. So bye, everyone, and I'll see you in the community.